What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and before we get into this video, I do want to kind of rant about something that I should have mentioned in yesterday's video regarding the change-up kit system. So, as many of you already know, there's only 4 characters that we can put the change-up kit system on. Both versions of BS Rugal and BS Orochi, and 97 Orochi and 98 Omega. And that's all good and dandy. But the problem is, if you go to the exchange shop and you go to change-up kit, there's only memories that we only can use BS memory for Rugal here, and we can only use BS Orochi memories here. What? So in order for me to use the change-up kit system on 97 Orochi and 98 Omega, right? The only way that I can do this change-up for them is I gotta use 3 BS Rugal memories in order to get this little ticket. Huh? No. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm so sorry, guys, that I didn't bring this up in yesterday's video. This is absolutely asinine that they expect people to do this. Please, I'm asking all of you, do not do this. And why would you? Omega and Orochi, or 97 Orochi, are way better than what they were. They've done so many good things for them as far as their buffs. But to use 3 BS memories, original BS memories for them, really any BS memories, even if it's generic, is uncalled for. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they really should make it to where we can use our regular Omega Rugal memories, 3 Omega Rugal memories, to get a ticket for him. 3 97 Orochi memories to get a ticket for him. So we can do change-up kit systems for them. Because this crap, using actual BS memories to get this ticket, is bullshit. This should not be allowed, and I'm honestly shocked that Netmarble would do this. I mean, I probably shouldn't be shocked, but I am. This is absolutely ridiculous that they want us to use original BS memories for these characters. That is just nuts, my friends. It's just so ridiculous. So Netmarble, please let us use, the original memories for those characters to use the change-up kit system for them instead of having to use BS memories to do change-up kit system, because I can tell you that most players, including myself, will never do a change-up kit system for Omega Rugal or for 97 Orochi or any other future regular Fest characters if we have to use original BS or SS memories for them. That's just absolutely ridiculous, and it shouldn't be allowed. Now let's get to the topic at hand, which is the Halls of Elements. Now this was something that they did was actually really good, because what they did was they added 8 tiers of this, which gave us 2,400 extra rubies per color, right? That's insane. The problem is that it's a lot of CP, guys. I mean, to go to tier 33, which is the max, it's the last tier, you need 168,300 CP, which I've already done. So my focus today is to try to help you figure out how to add as much CP as possible to your characters. Now, obviously, the higher awakening level they are, the more CP that you can add. The better cards that you have on them, the more CP that you can add, right? Now, I was very fortunate, and I've been playing this game since the very beginning, and I do have the Tekken set, and this set adds a ridiculous amount of CP for any character. In a way, it's actually better than like the DOA 6 cards, it's, better than the Guilty Gear cards, because this set works on any character in the game. It's not specific to a certain collaboration, which is awesome, right? But Netmarble got a little sneaky and tricky, and now they just make card sets only specific to collaboration characters. So, like, if you're using collaboration characters and you have their original sets, right? Like, if you had the original DOA 6 set and you have the original Guilty Gear set, then, I mean, you're loving it, because you can use those characters and you can add an insane amount of CP if you have this set for your DOA 6 characters, or if you have this set for your Guilty Gear characters. I mean, these are awesome for those characters, right? But for someone like Rugal and any other character that isn't a collaboration character, it's not going to be worth a damn. And that's why the Tekken set's awesome. So anybody has a Tekken set, they're loving it, especially for this kind of stuff. The other thing is option cards that can actually add a lot of CP. And, this option card here is godly for BS characters. It is godly. And another one is the Ash card as well. I mean, I should have just stayed in the Codex. But the Ash card actually is really ridiculous as well as far as adding CP. Unfortunately, I don't have one of these cards, but if you have this card and that Ignatz card that I just showed you, you're going to add a ridiculous amount of CP to your BS fighters. It's just going to be so nuts. Now, they're only specific to BS fighters. Now, there are other cards like this one right here has a lot of CP to, I believe, just Guilty Gear fighters, right? And so, I mean, to specific fighters, there's certain cards that add a lot of CP. These can add some CP right here. Like anytime they add extra attack, they're going to add a little bit more CP. But this to an SS fighter because it's going to add the extra critical rate. Very good card for your SS fighters. This is a really good card for your BS fighters, right? Just extra attack. It's not the greatest, but it's all right. I mean, when you see a card that increases critical damage and critical rate, and attack, that is just, those are going to be the big ones that's going to add a lot of CP, right? I mean, but even just having an extra attack and increased skill cooldown does help. Now, a couple cards that are tremendous for adding CP as far as option cards are concerned is this one right here. This is an amazing card for adding CP to your characters. You're going to lose cooldown, but it's going to add a lot of CP so you can get that damage done. The other one is this one right here. This card is nuts. It adds a ridiculous amount of CP for your characters, man. I mean, like I said, guys, this one here is another card that can add a lot of CP to your characters, especially if they have burn and darkness. It's going to increase that damage. So that's actually really nice. And it'll work on any single character, guys. And there's a lot of other cards that probably could work. But really, when it comes to the cards that are always available in the game, this card right here, the Kazumi card, the Zhongfei card are really just top notch as far as adding a lot of CP for your characters. The other thing is transcending cards, right? If you got cards that are transcended, like let me see if I can find one here really quick. I know I have some like these right here, right? When you have these cards that are transcended, and I know it's a lot of effort, guys, but you really want to try to transcend card that you can work on, that can work on all kinds of characters. Like if you have an Akane set, you can transcend it. I mean, if you're using DOA 6 characters and you transcend the DOA 6 set, that's going to be godly CP for them, right? If you have the Guilty Gear set and you transcend it, that's going to be, again, just insane CP game for your Guilty Gear characters. It really depends on the characters that you're using in this game mode as far as how much CP you're actually trying to gain and whether or not you actually have their set cards or option cards available. Like a lot of people probably won't have this set, but the idea, guys, is like you could always transcend your cards to try to make your characters more powerful, to give them a lot more CP. You know, the Akane set is really just an all-around really good set, and if you transcend this, it's going to add a lot of CP to your characters. If you don't have a Tekken set, if you don't have DOA 6 sets, if you don't have the Guilty Gear sets, or if you just want to save on your resources and wait until the Street Fighter collaboration, right? Because I'll probably introduce a card set that's going to give a lot of CP to those specific Street Fighters. Then you could just do that if you just want to save your resources, because transcending cards can be a very expensive process. And you guys can see I did use the Kazumi card on my character right here, right? And transcending these cards also is going to add a lot of extra CP for your characters. The other thing that you can do as far as adding CP is your strikers. If you use a striker that's at level 50, right, the higher awakening level they are, the more CP that they can add, right? I'm using Geese right here because Geese actually has a link effect to Rugao, or decreasing that skill cooldown. Now, if you're running like the Kazumi card, the Zhongfei card, if you're running a card on your character that takes away their cooldown, having a striker that has the decreased skill cooldown actually helps a lot, so you can actually run through your rotations a lot faster. It actually increases survivability of your character. Now, luckily, I have Nightmare Geese at Awaken level 50, and your striker, the better you have them built, the more CP they're actually going to give your main damage dealer that you're using in the Halls of Elements. So, like having max capsules on them, the higher awakening level that they are, having max stones. Like if I had 2 stones right here, that would add more CP to my Rugao when I'm using him. And if I had cards set on this guy, and guys, the card sets you want to do the same way, right? Your damage dealer, you saw that I had the Kazumi card on Rugao. Well, if I had, another Kazumi card, I would just slap it on Geese here, right? To add some extra CP, which I do have. If I can go ahead and find any of these things. I mean, I always pass them up. Let's see here. Where were they at? Here we go. We'll just put a Zhongfei card on, right? Right? And that adds a nutty amount of CP, 4,500, right? And then we put this card on them, the Kazumi card. Now look at that, right? We just added a lot more CP. And if I was to throw, like, you know, I'm just going to use the KSS. It's not really the card choice I would put on this guy, but I'm just using this as an example. And if I put the KS set on this guy, right? Now we just added even more CP, right? A lot more CP, right? And whenever I exit out of here, you'll be able to see, guys, that we're going to have even more CP. Now we're up to 6,000. This was like, what, 4,000, 4,500 a second ago? So me just putting card sets on this character added more CP to my Rugal. Like, Rugal right now has 162,000 CP, but with Geese, you add on another 6,000 CP. He's got 168,000 CP, which is enough for the requirement to do this. So, like, the striker that you're using, you want to try to have a good link effect, and you want to try to add as much CP to that character as possible. And if it's a character that you use often, and you got good imprint stones on them, you have a good card set on, and by the way, guys, if I put a Transcending card set on Geese, that would add even more CP, right, to my Rugal. That's how you get it done. That's how you add as much CP as possible. Then, of course, setting up a good team always works as well. You know, I got a good leadership with a 60% increase of boss types for Rugal. Also, in these halls of elements, you really want to make sure that you're using characters that have a type advantage. This isn't always true. It just helps so much because they get an extra increased damage by 50%, right? Rugal does 50% more damage to red fighters and takes 50% less damage from red fighters, which this boss is, right? So whenever this is green, you're going to want a red fighter here. When this is yellow, you're going to want a green fighter here, like BS Orochi, right? Or Ino, right? I mean, that's how you have to approach the halls of elements. And luckily, because I do have that Tekken set, I don't need to really have my Rugal at level 60 or at level 70 in order to have enough CP to do this, which is actually pretty refreshing. It's actually good to know. I was actually kind of wondering if I really would need to level him up even more, but I don't. And if I had that Ash option card, I could add even more CP to him. And a tip that I can give you guys as far as like when you're playing this, like say you just have one character that is your main damage dealer, right? Well, what you can do is use that character, but have another character that has a nice long 3PG to delay the timer, right? Because you have to do this within a minute, right? So I'm going to go ahead and switch to Rugal. Okay. Pokey got away from me there a little bit. We'll just go ahead and hit our 3PG. Excuse me, got a nasty cough, man. Haven't been able to shake that sucker. Whoa! There we go, there we go. There we go, there we go. This is actually taking a little bit longer than expected. By the way, guys, I hardly even use the shout. It does do good damage, but I'll try to use it here, but I could have used it there. I'll probably use it after this 3PG. And here we go. And you want to try to kind of stay aligned with the boss here. They like to move around a lot. It's kind of one of those things that's super annoying about them. Right? We'll hit our 3PG. And now see what happens is I just ran through my awakened skill, right? Now I'll be able to use my skills afterwards here. Right? And what I can do is I can use Orochi here and build up my 3PG, right? Now I'm not going to be doing any damage to this boss by using Orochi, right? This is how I beat it before. I'm just, you know, a little damage from the Starlight. Right? And... Right? And we stalled the timer a little bit. And then I could bring in Rugal and land the final blow within the time frame to get all 300 of these rubies. Right? So you could use a method like this also to try to get it done. If you have a damage dealer that has the color advantage, right? And they have just barely enough CP, like Rugal here. Right? I mean, he's just at the brink of it, guys. He has 168,000 CP currently right now, right? Combined with Geese here, he has 168,000 CP. So I just ran through his awakened skill one time, and then I used Orochi here to delay the timer with his 3PG. So you could always do an approach like that as well, but just make sure that you do put card sets on your strikers. Make sure that you add as much CP to your damage dealer as you can. And I showed you a lot of the ways that you can actually do that. And also, leveling up your fame system. Like if you have a character that has a certain color, so for example, for Rugal, right? If I wanted to add more CP to my Rugal, I could easily level up my attack right here. Now, obviously, you got to play Absolute War. You got to acquire these items right here in order to do it. But I could level this up to add even more CP. So this is another way that you can add CP to your characters. You know, if you need to use green fighters and you're just leveling them up, you can do this. And remember, each of these things only lasts about a week. Right, so you need to think about, you know, do I want to use all my resources here for just this one color because I'm not going to have enough of these materials for the next color? I mean, you got to think about things like that, but this is another way that you can add CP. But the Street Fighter collab is going to show up on March 24th, and you could actually just, during the collab, it's probably going to last a good amount of time, you could actually still try to get some of these rubies from the Halls of Elements while that collaboration is going on. So hopefully this does help some of you out there as far as trying to get through the Halls of Elements. And again, I do hope that they allow us to use just regular 97 Orochi memories and regular 98 Omega Rugal memories to do change-up kit systems for those characters, because there's no way we can be using BS memories for them. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So let me know how you're all doing against Halls of Elements and maybe what method you're actually using or what teams you're actually using. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.